My name is Philip Friedenberg.
Cameron Rogers, and I'm originally from Eden, and now I'm in Buffalo.
Music, I've been playing for, let's see, here we are in 2010. I'd say 15 years, 15 good years.
I think about 7 or 8 years now. So I was 13, maybe. I think it was back in high school when they, or right before, I think it was seventh grade, when they told us that we had to take up an instrument or take chorus, and I didn't want to sing, so I did what was the most interesting, which was drums, and after that, I actually developed a passion for it.
Seeing the like cheap Sears Harmony guitar, this like $99 guitar, I thought, I really want to play a guitar, see what that's like. But then I also remember in hindsight at the same time thinking, but how in the world could I ever get $99? I've had a lot of times in my life where music, you really have to take a leap to do what you love, because it's sort of all or nothing, and that can be a intimidating feeling sometimes. And I can say for sure that I remember the first time I had to say, do I want to live as a touring musician or work a 9 to 5 job to subsidize that? I really sort of had to sever it and just go for it, and say that I can't worry about paying the rent, for example, because I have to go out on a ledge and sort of chase that passion of playing music, and it's a hard trek, but you gotta do it. And oftentimes I think the love of playing always makes the challenges of finding out how you have to play much easier.
I guess just knowing that you're making some kind of, I guess any product that's your own. I mean, you go to work and I make stuff that doesn't even benefit myself, or I don't even see any of it. I don't care how clean the floor is. So I guess it's just knowing that you have your own product and that you're actually proud of, and actually knowing that there are some people that see or hear all of them witches and are actually taken back by how they've never heard anything like that before, and just knowing that you're doing something completely different. It feels a lot better than just doing something that you never see, get paid $8.90 for. I think honestly, like, I don't think there's a part about it that feels like that isn't fulfilling. I mean, like, it's even to a point where when we're writing music, we think whatever is funniest, like when we're playing it, we can just make a song out of it. Like, repeat this however many times, like cut out this part and then skip to the next part. It's just like whatever seems funny. It never seems like I'm doing work. Like, I don't like look at my watch and just want to get out. It's always just like everything, like playing shows especially, and there's only been a few amount of shows where people knew how to move during the shows. Like, most of the time we get but there are a couple that people were actually like moving and really enjoying it, and that was extremely fulfilling.
I think Cameron and I have talked a lot recently about taking risks musically, how we find that when we sort of push ourselves into these areas creatively that almost feel just out of your grasp to even execute, if you can sort of pull that in, then you feel so much more, you feel broader and more expansive creatively, and you're always sort of trying to reach further out into these territories that are really sort of difficult to pull in, because it takes all your effort and all your work and creativity, and it can be hard, but it's tremendous when you come out the other side with that feeling of, wow, we really organized all this disorder and confusion and challenge of the unknown that's like way out ahead of us in our lives.
I don't know. I get upset with myself when I feel like I'm staying like too stagnant. Like when I'm not doing enough to keep progressing.
I think in a way, composing music is analogous to like creating a future, you know. I can't get out the door unless I first think about the process of getting up to go get out that door. And it's the same way with music, you know. If you don't start to envision what it is that you want to compose and organize, it's harder to put like a value and design on what is otherwise just complete craziness, you know. Because I can remember the first time I quit my job, you know, to get on a plane and fly to the other side of the world and start playing shows, you know, and not looking back. And I remember someone saying, you know, it might be an unusual way to look at it, but I remember, you know, reading somewhere about this like wartime analogy where this general came in to this big battle, and they came in on the ships, and they got off the ships onto this island to face the opposition. And before the general like forged on with his battalions, he got everyone together and asked them to look out back into the sea where the ship that they came in on was, and at that point he had it blown up, and the ship burst into flames before everyone. And he kind of said, well, that was our ride in, and that's not our way back. There's no turning back. We can't get out that way. The only way that we can get out of this is by getting out to the other side of the island, and then that's our way home. The way we came in, that's not our way home, so we got to go forth. And I kind of related to that strongly, like when I was thinking of music and jobs and you know, like what I wanted to do with my life. And I always felt like I was just I burned my ship. And even though it's more comfortable and more familiar to be acclimated to the way that you came to get somewhere, you can't stay attached to that mechanism or path or journey that got you there, because the way forward is always going to be unknown, and it's going to always be harder to understand, and it's going to be more complex and more challenging, but it's so much more rewarding to discover that new patch of land that you get to as you go along. So I think music has been a tremendous way to really enjoy like new patches of land, if you will, like in my life, I can say. So I'd say you just got to keep looking ahead. If I see a band play and it's incredibly inspiring, I want to go home and not do that, but I want to do the thing that I do that makes me feel most fulfilled. And sometimes I don't even think that's restricted completely to music or art, for that matter. It could be anything, because I think sometimes the arts can get a pretentious sort of insulated quality to it that defines it, and it's restricted from real life. But I think sometimes the most inspiring things are real life, you know, like just being inspired and passionate and alert and taking life in, not just musically and creatively and artistically, but in everything we do, you know. Life's not always just these super elated moments of, wow, we just played a great show, when in the grand scheme of things, that's a half hour, you know, like you had this super rich, heightened sense of enthusiasm for 30 minutes. And the trick is to take that feeling of utter transcendent elation and apply it to the most mundane things that we'd ever do. You know, like I'm gonna drive home and there's the world, you know, and I'm gonna make a sandwich, you know, and brush my teeth and clean the sink and vacuum. And it's finding richness and excitement in all of those things because of the joy and the love that comes in like playing music, for example, or whatever it is that anyone loves doing, you know. I just hope that people take that view on sometimes. And I think playing music for me is trying to share that feeling with other people. And if anyone else can see what we do and feel that about anything else that they do in their life, I'd like to contribute to that, you know. I'd like to contribute to other people's well-being by playing music. I think it's a pretty good core, you know, good ending point, or a hope, if you will.